Okay, so the fourth task here is going to be performing a suture with the extracorporeal knot. So you need the foam block here, and then you need to have a penrose over here that you can use. And for this, I like to use the open knot pusher because it's usually easier for me to use. In addition, for the testing centers, they usually use 2-0 silk over here. And one of the things to be familiar with is concept of several points on the needle. One is a point 2 centimeters away from the end over here, and then 1/3 of the way from the tip, and then 2/3 of the way from the tip. Usually people bring in the needle like this, 2 centimeters from the end, grab 1/3 of the way from the tip, and then grab 2/3 of the way from the tip, and then drive it through. Now we're going to see some videos which advocate for grabbing 2 centimeters from the end here. I actually disagree, at least for testing reasons, and this is the reason why. So when you grab 2 centimeters away and you bring in the needle, it actually moves around quite a bit. And when it moves around a bit, it's harder to grab, and your hands aren't actually going to be this steady. They're going to be jerking around because you're going to be jacked up on caffeine because you drank a monster before the test. So, what I actually recommend for this is to, instead of grabbing 2 centimeters away, just grab right at the end of the needle. And then that way, when you bring it in, see, it doesn't really move around very much at all. That way, then you can grab 1/3 of the way from the tip with your left hand. And then usually a little bit more perpendicular. Then you can grab at the 2/3 point over here for the needle. Now, when you actually drive the needle through, you're going to want to tent this up so you can see where that black dot is, and then go right through that black dot, making sure you're going right through. And then you want to roll the penrose over. Roll it over. That way you can tent it up and you can see where it's tenting. And then you can just go right through that other side with a black dot because you can see where your needle is going through. That rolling part is pretty important. Now you let go. You push this penrose down so you can keep it in place while you roll this needle through while turning your wrist. If you notice my hands on the screen, they're turning. That way you keep pulling so you have enough length. You can pull pretty far because the suture is pretty long. Grab the end and then bring it back through the same trocar that you brought the needle in. Okay. So make sure you don't avulse the penrose, which is Velcroed down. Now, for the actual tying portion, you have to tie 3 knots. So, doing so, you hold the needle in your anchor hand, throw 1 knot down. And, some people, they advocate tying 3 throws and then pushing down, 1, 2, 3. I don't recommend that because it can cause an air knot. And I don't think the extra time saved is worth potentially having an air knot, which would basically invalidate the task for you. You actually push past the throw, going all the way down and not on it, because if you push on the throw itself, you're going to have extra friction, and that's bad. And so if you push past it, you can push all the way down, and then you'll have tension on both sides of the throw that will keep it in place. The knot will stay in place. And you throw a second alternating throw, because they're going to look at these throws under a microscope to make sure that they actually hold. Don't be afraid to brace your hands because, again, they're going to be shaking from caffeine. Pushing this all the way down. And so there's a good question of, okay, what happens if, and I'm on my 3rd throw now, what happens if I slip off inside the box when I push the knot down? And that's possible. So what happens if you accidentally slip off? First of all, don't start crying or praying. You're not getting any extra points for that. But you just bring the knot pusher back out and you hook back onto the thread. You have to keep tension on it to stay in with open knot pusher, but you just continue going down and pushing all the way down because you're going to have a harder time trying to resituate yourself inside the box than outside. So you just might as well go back outside. Okay, now all you need to do now is to cut the threads here to any length, and then you are done with the extracorporeal knot tying. You'll take this to a lab and look at it under a microscope, but no air knots. You want to avoid those. You want to seat down every time.